Now to get started weaving, you're going to take one piece of the 1/2 inch wide and drop the end off to the side or onto the floor so that it's out of your way, and hold the other end. We're going to lay this piece of reed on top of the 3rd stake in and clamp this to the outside of that stake. Clamp that in place so we can pull on it and it won't move. And then this is our over, so I'm going to go under the following stake. Go behind that following stake like so. Over, under, over, under. And notice that I'm grabbing the reed right near where I'm working. If you pull like this and you try to thread this underneath, over, underneath, you're gonna have to pull all this length and you're going to disintegrate the reed. It's going to get roughed up and the friction of pulling it through is going to be a problem. So try to stay close, kind of choked up near where you're weaving, and then move the stakes out of your way with your hand to do your weaving. When you get to a corner, come in and bring your hand underneath, create a little bit of a crease right along the edge of that corner stake, and continue the pattern. Here I went under, so when I turn, I'm going to go over and then under, and make sure that this crease sits right in the corner. You don't want to pull too hard because then you won't have enough reed, but if you leave too much of a bubble, you're going to end up with a funky corner on this first row. So come in and you're kind of going for a nice 90-degree between these two stakes. So if you bring them upright next to each other, if your piece of reed sits nice and snug around that corner, then you have good placement. Here I'm going to throw in another clamp to hold that in place at the corner, and then rotate your basket around so you can see the next side you're working on. And now we're back to the side we started on. So to get this clamp out of my way so that I can weave over that, I'm going to slide this over here and clamp to this end. And then here I'm going to throw a clamp in over on this side so that this row doesn't move too much. Turn this corner and weave. And now we're going to do what's called a 4-stake overlap. That's where you go over 4 stakes overlapping your previous weaving so that this has room to flex. Go over the end, so we're covering the end, behind this 2nd stake, so this is the first, over that end, and then behind the 2nd stake, over the 3rd stake, and then cut to the far edge of this 4th stake over, cut like so that it has that full width. We'll tuck this end behind like so, and now your starting end is right here, tucked behind this guy. Your ending end is right here, tucked behind this stake, and we'll move that clamp right in the middle to hold those two in place so they don't pop out. And that is your 4-stake overlap.